And good morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Kones. Glad to have you here to join me in discussing the political happenings of the week is Dr. David MATSANGA, Pan-African Forum Chairman. Karibu Daktari, how are you doing?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Yes.
Good morning. Thank you very much, all of you across the continent of Africa. And those watching KASS TV, this is International Waters Day. International Water Day is for people to think of River Nile that comes from my country, that saves millions and millions of the people across the Sahara Desert from Egypt, Ethiopia, Sudan, and the Great Lakes region. Good morning. So let's think about water. Let's think about water.
It's World Water Day, and yet in many places in this country, there are people who have never seen water, flowing from a tap. Don't you think it's very sad in 2022 when we look at even at our elections and look at what people are talking about, and they talk about economic empowerment, both sides of the divide. They talk about issues to do with all manner of development, and yet there are places where water is still a scarcity. Isn't that sad? Are we serious as Africans, generally?
First of all, I want to say, don't even underrate the usage of serious as Africans. We are bewitched as Africans. If you look at the governor of Turkana, for example, Turkana is surrounded by a great lake that has been there for millions and millions of years. The government and the people of Kenya under devolution have pumped in billions and billions of shillings into Turkana for the last 10 years. What Nanok has done, if you go on the balance sheet and see what Nanoko has done with these billions of shillings, he has built apartments in Nairobi, he has built a house in Karen, he has built houses, he's bought houses across, he's done business. We have a problem, we are bewitched. So don't tell me there are certain people who don't have water. Indeed, some of these problems are self-inflicted problems. Self-inflicted. We wound ourselves. We kill ourselves. We shoot ourselves every day as Africans. We are bewitched.
Right now, the theme of World Water Day is making the...
Can I finish my point? Let me finish my point.
Yes.
We support thieves. We support thieves. We clap for thieves. We even, when you listen to people in Kenya saying they love thieves, you wonder whether you are in Africa or why you were born even in Africa. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I was saying one of the themes for World Water Day is making the invisible visible. But also even in many places, even in Nairobi, what used to be visible has now become invisible. I mean, people can remember the days shortly after independence when we would all have the people who had taps actually had taps that were working. There are many estates in Nairobi, for example. In other parts of the town, I was reading even Eldoret, they were saying, there's going to be a scarcity of water in the taps for the next 3 months or so. And it's surprising we're about to see rainfall. And one of the most surprising things that happens with us is when it rains, it floods. Then we complain about flooding and we suffer from flooding and, it's excesses. But during the moment that ends, again, we have no water. It's very surprising. Yet there are countries that are desert countries like Dubai that do not lack water.
So I am 100% correct when I said we are bewitched. Why don't you accept?
Yeah,
we are bewitched. Honestly, we are bewitched. When it rains, it floods. People cry, "Sirikari's idea, Sirikari's idea." When it shines again, we cry, "Saidia." Hakuna maji.
Hakuna maji.
What type of leadership? If you have leaders like Ruto who are only looking for power, a man like William Ruto looking for power, power, give me power. I think when he's sleeping in Karen with his wife, in his wife's bedroom, say power. He wakes up, power. Oh, power. He wants power, but he doesn't know. For 10 years, he has given nothing to the people of that great Rift Valley. The very good people of that great Rift Valley have received nothing. Instead, he has gone around importing maize from my country to supply maize, even to suffocate the few farmers. So for me, the statement I have for you this morning, and don't start me on a wrong note, we are bewitched. We support thieves. We are bewitched. We love thieves. We are bewitched. We love Nanok. Because when Nanok crosses over to Uganda, to Karamoja, hey, I don't know whether you are cutting off my thing. Don't cut off anything there. I'm hitting Ruto. When in Nanok, yes, if you cut anything, let people hear. Yes, if Nanok passes Uganda, drinks beer in Karamoja, in Maroto, he comes back, he washes his feet and showers in a hotel in Karamoja. But he has been given billions of money to give the people water. You know, our theme today is World Water Day. You don't think we are cursed? Don't you think we are bewitched?
Well,
don't you think
you could say there's definitely a problem of some sort.
The tragedy of Africa is the lack of truth. They don't want the truth. If you talk too much truth,
we say the challenge is leadership. Yet we've had leadership. Like us, we have been independent close to almost 59 years now, since 1963. Yes. We are going to be 59.
Can I tell you some story before you come? In my country, in my home,
yes,
today, in my house, in my mother's house, in my mother's compound, the only living soul after the rest have gone in a very bad way. Do you know what I can tell you? Can I shock you? There is a piped water. I pay water bill. That I cannot, honestly. I left 37 years ago. I didn't know that water would reach my place because I come from a mountainous place. But water is in our compound, piped, very clean, no disease. Hala, and you people here, you get more money. You say Uganda money is cheap, is useless, but there is something that Museveni has done. I'm not a good man who, I think when this word comes from MATSANGA's mouth, Museveni should take it seriously. He has done very well. Because I'm the only living critic since 1982. The rest of these people hangers on came later on, Mr. You know it. Bessie came later, Bob Wine came later. I'm the only living soul, actually, who has said and changed, brought the parties that Bessie is enjoying. Because Bessie never wanted parties. And he masquerades here that he's a Democrat. Rubbish. These are the people who retard Africa. One day bring a motion and I finish them here. These are dangerous people who retard Africa. You know, when I was fighting for parties on BBC, CNN in London, they never wanted me to do it. They were calling me names. That messenger was even issuing warrants for us. We know that very well. But it's today, when he's enjoying parties, he has forgotten most of us who did it. But there is one thing that Museveni has done very well. He has brought water, at least in my country. I beg, tell you.
There is water we
Karamoja, there is water at home in my London district, which is mountainous. My mother takes water, and a very clean water, no disease. There is water for washing. In fact, I'm thinking of building a flush toilet, a fresh one. Everything is done. There was water there for months.
That's a good thing. And,
yes.
Hopefully.
So I take this opportunity to thank President Museveni on this day of the Water Day. That Your Excellency, thank you very much for making sure that water reaches everywhere.
Rare 70 there you have given today.
Yes, for the first time, there are a few things. Me, I give a credit where it is due. If you ask me about Museveni in opposition in Africa in good politics, a man who has studied political science like me. No, yeah, who has studied? My dear brother Kones, I've studied political science to the last iota on earth. And I come and say Museveni has done nothing for 37 years, I would be a madman. There is a deficit. There's a deficit of democracy. I agree. And democracy takes time to come. It will come. Britain, how many dead bodies were in Britain before democracy came? Very many. So democracy will come at a certain. Thank you.
Dr. Let me just ask her as we are continuing, because yesterday we saw Sakina Party and they gave us a presidential candidate, small parties as well come about and go ahead and have their national delegates conference, talk about their presidential candidates and things like that. And it looks like we have so many parties for people who are looking from one angle. We say a lot of parties in Kenya, and one wonders why they cannot just amalgamate them, because right now most of those parties are either going into Azimio or they are going into a coalition with UDA. Now, into the Kenya Kwanza, they call it. Yeah.
What?
So
amalgamated what? That is multipartyism. Multipartyism means every state is allowed. I am cutting your points before. You are talking to a professor of political science and international.
I have not asked my question. So, where do you think I'm going with this?
Yes, let me hear your question. Yes.
My question is, one wonders, shouldn't we maybe just go the American way and have 3 or 4 major parties? Because we have a lot of parties, almost 200 parties in Kenya. Some of them, they only come alive during the elections, for they do a national delegates conference, then they give out certificates, or people buy certificates to run on. And then after that, after the elections, they are quiet for the next 5 years, until another election comes, and then somebody decides, oh, we have a party here, let's open up, let's dish out a few certificates. Is this multipartyism really working for us?
Yes, multipartyism works in that format. When we were fighting for parties in Uganda, when nobody wanted political parties to take part in Uganda, I was one of the few people with a very outspoken voice from London, which was very clear, and it was talking about parties must return. Basically wanted no parties to return to Uganda. And he was a chief political commissioner. I wanted parties to return, and equally in Kenya, it is important for parties in Kenya to return, so that parties are part of democracy. Parties are part of governance. Parties are part of institutions that keep peace. Parties are part of areas. If you have anger, you can finish your anger with your party leader. You don't take it to another person. You don't. Before you go to the other person, they say there are guidelines that will make you, before you attack the other person, has the party said, has the party made. How many people know that there are parties in Britain? There are so many political parties in Britain, even including one-man party. And they win seats. Independent parties. So many independents are in the United Kingdom. Yes, with their political version. There's nothing wrong with having so many parties. The only problem is what will these parties do? The only other problem is Safina, which you are talking about, is now, Safina used to be a party of freedom, freedom fighters, freedom, people who wanted freedom. Mwite was a freedom fighter. He has turned to a magnate, a money magnate fighter, a corrupted person, being bought by a man whose record is very clear. He's involved in 9 guns of high millimeter gauge, which is sniper guns. You are now giving him a party to come and join hands with another thief from Sungoi. You know, now that is the politics we have here. We have a problem with African politics, that even people who have stolen come and say, I will fight corruption. I don't know how Ruto will fight corruption. Instead of him going to lock himself in a committee, he should go first in a committee.
Daktari,
and then fight corruption.
Here. We keep talking about that here, and I keep telling you, you know, Daktari, that those are allegations. Until someone is convicted.
I am saying,
people trade allegations all the time. They say, and
do you know the mistake you have? Do you know the mistake of Kenya? Can I tell you the mistake of this republic? Are people like you who went to school but don't face facts. You are the mistake of this country. You went to school with 2 master's degree, but you don't speak out your mind. What the disease of this country is. You are very well educated, you are very democratic people, you are very welcoming, but some of you don't speak up your minds.
But we say we follow the constitution in terms of, if somebody alleged something against, if somebody said MATSANGA is a thief today.
Alleges some, can you tell me that your criminal justice, I am coming to the criminal justice system of Britain, of Kenya. Is it a good criminal justice system where you lock up a thief on Friday, take him to court on Monday, release him on Tuesday, he flies to Mauritius to enjoy the money he stole? Is that a good criminal justice system? No. When Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga wanted to bring BBI to change the law, that once you are suspected of a crime, step aside. Within 6 months, clear your name. Finish with EACC. Now you have turned around. The thieves go and make a manifesto and tell us, when we take power, in the first 100 days, we shall target EACC. We shall target DCI. We shall target GDP. We shall target, oh my God, this is what Ruto is saying. Because when you steal, Mr. Kones, you steal alone quietly. Why do you involve us? I'm asking you today.
If I steal what?
You're a neighbor. When you steal money, when somebody corruptly does a deal, does he call us?
No.
Have you ever been called? You're a neighbor of Mr. You're a neighbor of His Excellency.
If that happens, he's doing it for himself, his family, maybe his friends.
No, you are a neighbor. You are a neighbor of His Excellency, the Deputy President. When he's making his deals across in the fence, don't you smell them in the outside in the periphery of Tarubo?
If that happens, then, you know, that happens. But the question is, you know, we talk about, because everyone talks about, like, for example...
Silent! Silent!
Daktari, hold on. Like right now, we are looking at, for example, we are looking at the Auditor General gave us a report. He says that there is no county in Kenya that does not have a question to answer concerning, you know, the monies allocated to it and how they have used it, which means all counties wako na maswali. It's the same argument that's used in the political parties by saying, look, if you, this side are calling this side thieves, they also said, oh, there are also people in Azimio who are thieves. Okay, we know so-and-so, has been accused. And all those allegations are allegations because most of the time, unless for the Honorable John Waluke who was convicted, many of these people have not been convicted of any crime. Sometimes it has been rumored, sometimes they've not even been charged. For example, for any crime to to begin with. So people can say, in the law, in the eyes of the law, I am not charged, I have not been convicted, there's no one who has, I mean, who are we then to say, and even when we speak about it on a legal basis, somebody could easily sue you for saying you've called them a thief, if I called you a thief with no proof.
I will bring proof. I will bring proof.
So that being the law as it is, the way you're saying our law may have its flaws.
What is the point? The law in Kenya must be changed. The bottom line, I agree with you. The law in Kenya must be changed to catch up thieves, to take them, so that we stop speculating.
Yeah, and then even when it's changed, it needs to be enforced, because sometimes even enforcement is an issue.
That is a bad criminal justice system. I want to ask you, the people who have taken bail from the court, where are they?
Because sometimes, even with enforcement, a warrant of arrest is issued, somebody goes and hides in parliament, they can't be found, or they hide in somebody's house who has got a basement.
This morning, as you leave the studio, after our show, you go to the Central Police Station and see where Itumbi was directed to be signing every Friday. Has he signed?
Do I go to where?
There are people who are given bail by the court. The court says you have been given bail, you must report to the CID headquarters every Friday.
Yes.
Some of them are in Dubai now. Some of them have even bribed the passport, the judiciary, to get their passports and quietly go. You get my point?
I get your point.
So you tell me in actual sense, in the seriousness of the matter of what we see, if this criminal justice system of Kenya can catch any thief if it is not changed. What is a criminal justice system? It is the police, judiciary, let's name it, prisons,
the DCI.
DPP, prostitution, DCI, and then we have the people who come at home, workers, outreach workers. There are people who come and see you, whether you are obliged or whether you are actually following the guidelines. Probation workers. Where are the probation workers? It's a part of the criminal justice system. If you go to the Ministry of Social Services, you will find a huge list of about 100 probation workers.
And yet, Daktari.
And they earn a salary. Let me tell you, my brother, they earn a salary, but they don't do any work. Therefore, the criminal justice system needs all the effort of other people. That's why the BBI was going to change that once you are caught on an economic crime, you must sort your mess before you come back to work.
You do realize, Daktari, that also there's a complaint that is generally heard from especially the Kenya Kwanza team. And they keep talking about state capture. They say, and from my understanding of what they mean by state capture now, is that, that most of the criminal justice systems have been caught by the state, and they are then used by the state to mete out punishment for not adhering to the state. For example, if you are the president and I was, your one of your ministers, the moment I say something contrary to what you have to say, then I get a case with a KRA, then I get a case maybe with DCI, then I get a case that usually it follows political fallouts. And then that's why they say state is being captured, and they say that's what they want to change, so that the state does not use the criminal justice systems to settle scores. What would you say about that? Yeah. I don't know whether Daktari on his end can be able to hear me. It looks like we are experiencing some difficulty. Looks like the picture has hung a bit. Maybe it's, I'm not so sure whether it is us or it's on that end, but we're gonna try and see whether we can get him back. We will come back shortly. Let's just be able to work on that. Then we'll be right back after these messages. Don't go away.
Syngenta go agenge eng kampunishekab agriculture jeindoi eng ngunduni. Syngenta kotinye roadshow netakyingei kotuiyo ak kabatik kobun counties chebo Uasin Gishu, Nandi ak Trans Nzoia. Roadshow inito kotetat kotoi kou ole isubi.
Eng kosomok kasi tarik 23 arawetab somok komitei Kitale, Kitalale, Sapoti, Muroki, Kisawai, Lukome, Kiminini, Kitale.
Eng kwangwan kasi tarik 24 komitei Kapkoi, Kabomboi, Kesogoni, Maredadi, Kwanza, Kolongolo Kitale.
Eng komut kasi anyun tarik 25 arawetab somok kemitei
Endebess, Chepchoina, Molem, Twiga ak Kitale. Eng Jumamos tarik 26 kemitei Kachibora, Tuigoini, Loa Moibeni, Chebororwa, Kabimoi, Bugare ak Iten.
Eng Jumatatu anyun tarik 28 arawetab somok kemitei
Kaiboi, Kipsombe, Sinendete, Ziwa Machine, Moi's Bridge, Fafarole ak Nangili. Eng kwaeng kasi tarik 29 kemitei Ndalate, Tarbo, Soi, Gabenes, Sajangwan, Ziwa, Merewete ak Uinet.
Eng kosomok kasi tarik 30 arawetab somok komitei Kipkorgoti, Naiberi, Talget, Kaptuli, Chembulet, Tugen Estate, Moibeni, Mafuta Farm ak Gabenes. Eng kwangwan kasi tarik 31 kotorchi Kapseret, Mosoriot, Kabiyet, Kurgungi, Kabyemit, Kipkaren Selia ak Kipkaren River.
Have you ever imagined dying on the job?
Why would you think about that? You have nothing. You are disturbing a lot of very powerful wallets here. It's a fact, not a threat.
I cannot help you.
Where do you think the money comes from?
Guilty. Hang on, Makena.
Upgrade your GoTV package. Ukiwa on GoTV Plus, lipia GoTV Max and we upgrade to GoTV Super. Ukiwa na GoTV Lite, lipia GoTV Value upate GoTV Plus. Ukiwa na GoTV Value, lipia GoTV Plus upate GoTV Max. GoTV, love it.
Kwamba wanariadha wote wa Kenya na wale wa ng'ambo wamekuja na wamewakilisha kwa mbio za nyika na inaendelea mzuri sana. In fact, we are really happy about what has happened. We have our sponsors, Lotto is with us and they have really supported us, and this is the cross country that we have always wanted to have as an international one. We are really excited.
The Gold Cross Country is a culmination. We have we have been supporting the cross country for 7 years. So this is good that we move from the national to an international level, and it's good to see the turnout. It's good to see how the event has been organized, and we're hoping we get many more that we can partner with Athletics Kenya, the government, so that we grow athletics from a grassroots to a national level and now internationally.
Every time you play Lotto, 25% goes to the Lotto Foundation, which supports our fellow Kenyans through various causes. Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives.
And welcome back. We are continuing with 59 minutes, and Dr. David MATSANGA, Pan-African Forum Chairman, is my guest. We were discussing matters to do with political happenings of the week. And Daktari, at least we have you back on, right?
Yes, thank you very much, Debbie and viewers. We were on a heated point. Now let's come. You ask more
I was asking you about state capture.
Yes, there is no state capture. Who has captured the state in Kenya? It's Ruto. The deputy president himself is a state capture. He's the one who captured the state. He's the one who started the helicopter, skyrocketing helicopter boys who went around collecting money from parastatos. Did you see Uhuru telling people to collect money from parastatos? Did you see Murkomen and Kindiki were flying all over to collect money from parastatal bodies?
The running line, Daktari, is...
Let's talk about it. Yes, let's talk about it. I am just an observer. I've been observing all these things. And I've noted all the things that have taken place. Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta are my friends. I am the man who came to save them. I came and stood firm when Kenyans, some of them who are enjoying it today, wanted them to be finished, to be brought down, to be taken down to prison. But
state capture, in their definition, is the state taking over institutions and then using them, like the DCI, for example, the KRA.
State capture could be
using those institutions to settle political scores.
In the political science, state capture could be an individual uses a state to molest others. Hasn't Ruto used the state to molest the rest of us? How much money do you have in you? How much money do you have in the pocket? Has he ever counted? Has he ever counted for the money he got? No, he hasn't. So who is capturing the state? It is him. If he's not a state capture man, why doesn't he resign now? He's sticking to the same state. Listen, he's sticking to the same state which he said it has been captured. He has no character. He has no conscience. You see, leadership does not mean constitution only. You stick on a job because the constitution said, Kones, sit there. The chairman says, sit in that place without leaving. Don't you have your conscience to query, Mr. Chairman? How am I going to go to the toilet? Don't you have your conscience? His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, should have conscience and should have character. Character and conscience are different from constitutionalism. Let me teach. Can I teach him because he studied botany, plants. He studied plants. He didn't study political science.
A feeling, Daktari, I need to address this part.
No, wait first. Let me make my point. He has lost morality. He has no morals to lecture to any Kenyan about conscience and character. He has resigned from Jubilee Party, gone to form another party. Then you walk around in another uniform. Your president is also in another uniform on the way. And you say you stick there, you say he doesn't like me. He has married another man, another woman. And I'm still here. Let me wait, maybe he will come back. No, in no more politics, resign and go home. Formulate your party. In fact, if the deputy president did that now, the amount of sympathy he will get is overwhelming. People who have brains will say, yes, the man was frustrated and he resigned. But he doesn't want to resign.
Here's the thing, Daktari.
He doesn't want, no, let me complete the sentence. He doesn't want to resign. He condemns the same government where he's drawing salary, where he's drawing allowances. He says it, the government, the state is captured.
African leaders not to resign easily. It's the aspect of, how do I call it? It's the aspect of being victimized after resignation. And there is a worry, you know, and it's said even by, and this is what I need you to address. You know, you've talked about state capture in a different light. The idea of, they say that everybody who has fallen out with the government of Uhuru Kenyatta has ended up in one trouble or another. That is what they feel as, you know, part of Kenya Kwanza. They say, well, you know, so-and-so was okay before. When they crossed over, they became a thief. So-and-so was okay before. When they crossed over, they started having tax issues. So-and-so was okay. When they crossed over, they started having, you know, legal issues. And that's a feeling that, you know, if you resign, then you open yourself up to harassment and maybe, you know, cases being brought against you, or, you know, police victimization and things like that. What would you say to that?
There are people who do business depending on the government. The chairman there doesn't do business depending on the government, the owner of this television station. Have you ever had him being involved in whether this or that? He still remains is a businessman. I've knocked your answer, number one. Have you had him getting involved? So whatever comes, he pays. What when they want the tax, he gives them. When you know you fall a victim yourself, you are now asking a question which is answered when you are on studio. There are people here in Kenya who do business without knowing whether the government has changed or not. But there are those who rely on government to do business, who steal from business, from government, who end up in that chaos, and then you turn around and that's a state capture. When Mr. Ichungwa was the chairman of the budget committee in parliament, he increased textbooks in the Ministry of Education. A supplementary budget was done in the Ministry of Education. Who was the PS in the Ministry of Education? Kipsang. What happened to the textbooks? Where? Atarere, don't bring this. What happened? And Ichungwa today is condemning Uhuru Kenyatta. Who was the chairman of the procurement board? Who was the chairman of it? Is Paulo Gicheru. Paulo Gicheru was the chairman of the procurement board, who used to source the tenders for the money, you know. We don't want to mention his name more times.
Interesting you say
You have been looking for how tenders, how money was taken out of government. I'm now telling you where the money was going. It was Ruto's people who were taking money while Kenyatta goes to borrow. Ruto's people take the money. Ruto himself. Yes. Most of these
also come back the other way. That those in Azimio are not clean as well. That's all.
If they come back on Uhuru Kenyatta, mention one, that Uhuru Kenyatta went, you tell me that Uhuru Kenyatta went and took money. Tell me, show me one instance where Uhuru Kenyatta went and took money. And he's talked about it, that he took the money. Where? Uhuru Kenyatta went to borrow money in order to do service industry, infrastructure, industries, food, buildings, hospitals. He brought money for people who sat down and worked out companies. Uhuru Kenyatta cannot supervise what he has brought. The institutions are there to supervise. He cannot go down, and he doesn't have the constitution which allows him to shoot people on firing squad. Change the constitution to say the president, if you are caught with money, stealing money, let's shoot you. Then people will say, Allah, what is going on here? You hear me? That is the truth of the matter. Uhuru Kenyatta borrowed the money. There is no country in the world that does not borrow. I want this point to come out very clearly, please, today. Even Britain, where some of us live, we borrow. But they don't show because they have their things, they have their institutions that follow the borrowed money. While Uhuru Kenyatta was borrowing, somebody was stealing even nails for SGR. Allah, you want me to go that way? You come from Tarbo. Haven't you heard the thief of nails? What is the common word around? Yeah, what is the common word around the Tarbo? Mwizi ya misumari. Ulisikia hiyo?
I haven't heard.
Ah, no. why do you fear? You are not going to be persecuted. It is MATSANGA going to be persecuted. Who is saying it? Mwizi ya misubari na mitarimbo. Nani? I've done a lot of research, my friend. When you go to eat food in those small hotels in Eldoret, Kabrengo. You sit there. I have sat there and I've heard who was stealing nails and iron bars of SGR. They will tell you. If you Google now, Google your phone now. Google your phone. I want to challenge you. Google your phone now. You are on the TV. Google it. And see. Voila. Watch out. Please don't harass Uhuru Kenyatta for nothing. Uhuru Kenyatta went and borrowed money. Unfortunately.
The buck stops with him, you know?
No, unfortunately, Uhuru Kenyatta, maybe in the first, he thought he was dealing with a very good man. Later on, he discovered he was dealing with a man who knows business. And you are going to elect him, this country will be like a mafia state. If you elect him, he becomes a president, this is like a mafia state. I want to tell you the truth. I don't want to hide you.
Still 4 months before an election is done.
No, it is your country. Some of you, like you have even told me to pack and go. You are my own nephew. You have told me pack and go. I will go.
To pack and go where? I've not told you to go anywhere.
Go where your mom comes from.
No,
your mom comes from my village, so I will pack and go.
You stay
that is
put.
what you have told me.
We live in a country where divergent views are allowed. In fact, I think in terms of democracy, you could even see what happened the other day with Moses Kuria, for example. You know, people.
When you talk about, why do you talk about Moses Kuria? Moses Kuria has lost feet. Can I tell you the problem? A human being works with pressure points in the feet. If your feet is burnt by electric blanket, you have very little thinking capacity. So let's leave it there. Have I answered you?
Yeah.
Do you use a blanket, an electric blanket in Africa when you have an electric blanket in Africa? The feet have been burnt. Moses is talking things that he doesn't know.
He has
the things that Moses is talking don't build Kenya. And for me, I don't want to repeat them here because they are not very good for the children, my children listening and your children and other people listening. Some of the things.
Okay. All right. What would be your parting shot, Daktari?
My parting shot today is a united Kenya. A Kenya without violence. I feel for the people of Tiati, West Pokot, Elengeyo Marakwet. When we can have a benchmark team to go across in Uganda and see what President Museveni has done with the Karamojong in the collection of these guns. I don't feel all right when I see violence. Well-armed people. These are not cattle rustlers. These are now terrorists. Somebody has created a terror group that could be used in case there is a dispute in elections. So you be careful. I think I want this to come out very clearly. Someone has been. Didn't I tell you on this station that two-pronged approach of Mr. X, whom you don't want me to mention the name many times, two-pronged of Fanoni Fanzi. Fanoni Fanzi says violence, and the violence alone. And once violence is instilled in the people who are poor, you govern them. The wretched earth, the wretched of earth. Have you read that book? Can I recommend for you to read that book tonight before you interview me further? Anytime. I want you to come with the material of Fanoni Fans. and you will be my friend forever. I want you to read another book of Nikolai the Prince. When you read the Prince, you can find the Prince in Kenya. I have gone through this experience, sir. When I saw in my country, I've witnessed 10 military coups, changes, since I became a man able to speak for myself. Yes, so I know what I'm talking about. There is a Fanon Fans and a Nikolai Machiavelli here. Be careful. The things happening in the Rengoya Marakwet could be a bigger scale, a bigger plan to destabilize this country, Kenya. Therefore, the authorities must swiftly take in the military, sweep the place. If possible, it can be with casualties, yes, but if possible, let's get peace coming from that area. It is sad that our children cannot do exams in Erengoya Marakwet. It is sad that this goes on going on in Baringo and Kapedo Triangle. That is sad. In Stuguda Valley, that is sad. And there are people who are stealing cows, who want to export, who are selling cows, who are selling beef, who are taking Kenya Meat Commission. And the train stops at the Dagoretti Center, at the Dagoretti Station. You see cows being taken out and put on lorries, isn't it? And the own wagons that take them to the slaughterhouse. Where is the general manager of the train who should be asked? These cows came from where, with which permit? You realize that Kenya is the only country in the world where meat is very cheap. That's why some of us, when we reach here, we eat a lot of meat, you and me. We have appetite for meat.
All right, Dr.
It's very cheap.
I hear you.
It's very cheap. Why have you asked yourself, Levi, why meat in Kenya is very cheap?
Into Daktari. Thank you so much.
Yes, you better look for it and come back. Read that book, The Wretched of Us, by Fanon Fans, the revolutionarist from Algeria, the black guy psychologist who went around. He changed. This guy is changing. He's telling the poor people that the wheelbarrow is the best. You are the hustler. He's telling people that Uhuru Kenyatta took your money. Have you seen what Ruto is doing? He's causing a class struggle in this country, which you might have a problem. I will go as you have told me, especially you and Mr. Biwot. You tell me to pack up quickly on social media. I will go. But I'm telling you, remember my words. I'm a Gentile preaching to the Jews. Read the book, the letter by Paul. Paul wrote a letter to Philippians, chapter 1 and chapter 4. My son, remember my words.
I hear you.
That I told you.
Thank you, Daktari. We're going to end it on that note, and always a pleasure. Looking forward to having a chat even as we come closer and closer to the elections. Dr. David MATSANGA, Pan-African Forum Chairman. That's 59 minutes for today. Stay tuned for Leah coming up with Losu, and have a wonderful rest of the day.